9. Ignition sequence start.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. We have a liftoff. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Welcome back to the Orbit Sports Podcast presented by Shotgun Sports Network, where Rocket City sports get launched into the stratosphere. I'm Daniel, and riding shotgun with me is the amazing Tabby. From the ice to the pitch to the diamond, we're launching straight into the biggest stories in Rocket City sports with zero breaks and absolutely no safe takes. So lock in, Huntsville, because Orbit Sports starts now.
Thanks for bringing me on.
Of course. So it's been a few weeks since we got to talk any sports here. Had a lot going on, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We'll hop right into it with the Trash Pandas. We've got a lot to cover. We left off with the home series against Knoxville, where the Trash Pandas did end up splitting the series before taking it on the road for 2 weeks against Birmingham and Pensacola. During this time, the Trash Pandas called up shortstop Aurel Vera from the ACL Angels. The ACL is a developmental league for first-year professional players, as well as some younger guys, getting them some experience and what it's like to play professional sports. They also called up second baseman Kyrene Paris, who was assigned to the Trash Pandas from the Salt Lake Bees. The Salt Lake Bees are a AAA organization, so they're just one step up from us and one step below the Angels. We lost right-hand pitcher Najir Victor, who was assigned to the Salt Lake Bees, and we gained right-hand pitcher Chris Cortez, who was assigned to the Trash Pandas from the Tri-City Devils, who is a high A affiliate in the organization. The Trash Pandas did lose right-handed pitcher Zabala. I didn't see where he got any placement there, so we wish him the best of luck in his endeavors.
So it's like a waiver, like the Havoc do. They waive somebody from the roster.
Yeah, they released him.
So is it like do you know if it's like with the Havoc, how if they're waived, they have 14 days before, like, for somebody to grab them, or they drop back down to a lower league, or their career just might be over, or how does that work?
Baseball's kind of different. Anybody, once they're released, the Angels organization doesn't have any more rights to him, so anybody can pick him up.
So he's a free agent.
Correct.
Okay.
In essence, yep. All right, so now that we got the transactions out of the way, I have to say that during this 2-week road trip, the Trash Pandas played absolutely lights out. During the Pensacola Road Series, the Trash Pandas did an amazing job, winning the first 3 games of the series 9-6, 10-1, and 7-3, before dropping 2 games 5-4 and 1-0. Both of those games, they were never out of it. Friday's game, in which they lost 5-4, they actually tied it up in the 9th, but the Blue Wahoos got the win on a 2-out single with a runner at second base. On Saturday, it was a pitching duel more than anything. The lone run was scored in the bottom of the 5th with a home run. Sunday, however, the Trash Pandas would win the series 2-1 on clutch hitting with runners in scoring position, only stranding 2 guys on the base path. And it was another big pitching battle that the Trash Pandas seemed to continue to find a way to win.
It really did look like in the early stages of this series, as I was watching it, it really looked like they were going to sweep this entire series. I mean, they did fantastic on game 1. They did fantastic on game 2. They did fantastic on game 3. And then they come into that game 4 and they did great, but they dropped it. And it looked like through no fault of their own, it looked like they were doing the best they could. The Wahoos just outdid them in that one.
Yeah, and it happens. I mean, baseball is one of those games. There's so many games in a season, you're not going to win every one. So I think it's more important to get series wins than sweeps. It's awesome to get sweeps. However, you're not always going to get sweeps. So getting those series wins are big. That means you're winning more than you're losing and gaining momentum. And they did just that as they headed down south to the in-state rival, the Birmingham Barons. And the Trash Pandas started off again hot early in the week, winning 3-2, 7-6, and 4-3 heading into the weekend. Friday, the Barons would finally get one back in a big way, winning 9-4. The Barons had a big third inning with the score tied 2-2 and put up 6. That's a huge crooked number. And I feel like that was a really big momentum killer for them in the game. You're deep into the game at that point. You're over halfway, and to give up that many, it hurts. And with the Barons mainly did all their damage with the bases loaded. The The Trash Pandas gave up a grand slam by Calvin Harris, which was his third of the season. And Gordon had a tough time out there on the mound, gave up 8 runs in 2 innings. I mean, just wasn't his day, and that's very unlike Gordon. Gordon is a pretty dominant pitcher that usually has great command. I mean, some days you're off, some days the other team's on. It's just the way it goes. Saturday, the Trash Pandas would bounce back, however, and get another series win with a 14-6 W. Big bounce back to answer the loss from the night before. Tucker Flint got the Trash Pandas off on the right foot with the 2-run home run in the top of the first inning with 2 outs. And to be honest, he had a great day at the plate in this game, going 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs.
That's really awesome to hear, considering like Tucker Flint came out this season and he was so hot in the beginning of the season. And then we watched him for several weeks, really. It wasn't just over a few games. It was over several weeks. We watched his performance go from being top tier to just sliding. It felt like down a hill. So to hear that he's getting back on the horse it's fantastic to hear.
He's doing
one
well.
of our good players. He's one of our great players.
Yeah.
So when he gets the yips, the whole team has the yips.
Yep.
So it's nice to hear he's coming back and he's regaining himself.
Here's a name that we haven't talked about a whole lot is Cole Fontenelle. Was a guy that also had a very big day at the plate. We haven't seen or heard much of him from this season. He's kind of been bouncing on and off the 7-day IR or injured list. Getting his first home run of the season during this game in the 6th inning. And the 6th inning in total was huge for the Trash Pandas as they were able to get some timely hits and putting a very crooked number on the board with a 6. Gustavo Campero hit a 1-out single to center to score Roll Vera and Kyron Paris, putting Roddy Rodriguez in scoring position at second base. Matthew Lugo would hit a double that would clear the bases. However, trying to stretch it to a triple, he was thrown out at third, and that would end the threats for more runs for the Trash Pandas. In the 8th inning, another big inning for the Trash Pandas. Solo home run from Roddy Rodriguez to give him a 10-6 lead. And then you get an RBI double from Tucker Flint, RBI single from Nick Rodriguez, RBI double from Cole Fontenelle, an RBI single from Harold Cole. I mean, they continuously in these 2 series are just extra base hits. And they were great on the base pass, especially when you're playing a team like Birmingham. They have such a great catcher in Corona. I mean, God, he's got a cannon. I say it every time they play him. He's not a guy that's easy to steal on. If there's a lefty in the matchup
he's
as well,
so fast.
It's impossible. And on days like this, when the bats are that hot, pitching doesn't have to be dominant. But it still wasn't bad from the Trash Pandas side of the field. Joel Hurtado got a great game on the mound, throwing for 6 innings, allowed 2 hits and 1 run, which happened to be a home run in the 3rd. The best stat for me was that he had 8 strikeouts on the night as he earned his third win of the year. He only allowed 2 hits and 1 run, which happened to be a home run hit in the 3rd inning. The best stat for me was that he had 8 strikeouts. 8 strikeouts in 6 innings means he was definitely doing his job on the mound, commanding the strike zone. Off-speed pitches fooling batters. And he ended up getting his 3rd win of the year. And him dominating on the mound combined with the great hitting from the Trash Pandas, it carved a path for them to get a huge win. Malstead seemingly struggled in this one, throwing for 2/3 inning and giving up 5 runs. So his ERA is definitely going to take a hit on that one. And usually a stat like that it's a game killer. I mean, you give up 5 runs in less than an inning. That's usually pretty hard. Yeah. Thankfully, like I said, though, the Trash Pandas bats were red hot, and it didn't hurt them as bad as it could have in a tight game. Moving into Sunday, with a series win secured, the Trash Pandas stayed hungry and aggressive, getting 1 run in the 2nd on aggressive base running and a home run in the 3rd from Josh Crouch. It seemed the Trash Pandas were off to another great start. They got RBIs from Tucker Flint that gave them a 3-0 lead before the Barons answered with 2 of their own in the bottom of the 3rd. The Trash Pandas added another run on in the 6th inning with a triple from Harold Call. However, the Barons would respond, adding 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning to take a 6-4 lead. The Trash Pandas did attempt a 9th inning comeback, but fell just short, tacking on only 1 run in the 9th inning, dropping the contest 6-5. The great thing that I see in this loss was the hits. The Trash Pandas have become very aggressive at the plate. They're swinging at a lot of pitches. They're hitting a lot of balls. And I know before when I would talk about the Trash Pandas, they would get hits, but it was to somebody. They would they would hit the ball hard just at somebody. Now those balls are starting to find the holes, and they're starting to get hits on the board, which lead to runs. I love seeing the aggressiveness, especially when you have to think that it has to be due to their confidence, right? They're getting series wins. They're hitting the ball well. They're running the base pass well. The pitching's well. You have to think that it's in total has to deal with all of it together.
Well, I mean, and we talked about it. We talked about this sitting in the booth one day. I said, look at all of the talent. I was reading through all of the different biographies for these players. And I said, look at all the talent we have. We have guys who have come from, they were playing major league. We have guys who have come up. I mean, some of these guys are worth millions of dollars from contracts that they've had with major leagues. They have the talent. It wasn't about us not having talent on the team. It was about them not knowing how to put it together, to put all of those talented people on the field and get them to work in synchrony. That was what seemed to be missing over the time that we've seen them this season. And it feels like they're finally doing that. They're finally finding that rhythm where, okay, these guys work really well together if we do it this way or if we do it this way. They're not bouncing them so much anymore between different positions because they found where they work.
And they are still making adjustments and giving guys playing time. But I think it really comes down to the team being able to gel. They've come together. You know, Kyron Paris played for the Trash Pandas last season and has come back, so he's a known face around Huntsville. And I just think that them coming together and having some time together, and road trips like this can be great for a team. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of bonding time. There's a lot of time on buses and travel and being in new environments that some of these guys may or may not have already played in. So I think that this was a good experience trip for the team. Pensacola and Birmingham are both respectable teams in the division. And it's still early. The sky's the limit right now for the Trash Pandas. So before this 2-week stretch, the only series win that the Trash Pandas had was opening weekend against the Biloxi Shuckers. They've tied series with Birmingham as well as Knoxville, but winning 2 series in a row, like I said, is a huge momentum and confidence boost for this team. And they're going to need it as they get a very tough first-place Chattanooga coming to town. The Trash Pandas are arguably the hottest team in the league right now. Their run differential has increased tremendously. At one point, they were in the red, but now they're at a league high, plus 19. So they're scoring more runs than they're giving up. They do still sit in third place in the North Division, but they're only 3 games back from Chattanooga. Especially with this series, you can make or lose a lot of ground here. So this is a big series early in the season. The Trash Pandas are 6-4 in their last 10 games, while Chattanooga is 4-6.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's so crazy because just a few weeks ago, Chattanooga they had 1 loss and it was the Barons.
Yeah.
And, the Barons are great. They won the whole thing last year. So I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying they had 1 loss and it was against the Barons. Before this series that they just played against the Barons, I was 100% certain Chattanooga was going to come to town and wipe the floor with the Trash Pandas. But now I feel like it's anybody's ball game.
It really is. Knoxville's 1 game ahead of Huntsville right now. It would be great for them to get a big series win here, as Knoxville, who is 1 game ahead of the Trash Pandas, has a home series against the South Division first place team Montgomery. I think that both of these series are going to be really fun to watch. Some really great baseball. Chattanooga is a team that so far this season has played extremely well on the road, posting a 15-6 record, and they are 14-7 against teams that are above a 50% win percentage. Whereas the Trash Pandas have seemed to struggle at home, going 8-7. However, 2 weeks of baseball, you're looking at 12 games. They're a different ball club now than they were the last time they were here. They're 5-7 against teams above a 500 win percentage. However, I think that this is a series where you will see how all the pieces have come together. I think you're going to see all the hard work that they've put in these last few weeks come together, and you're finally going to see what kind of product the Trash Pandas can put on the field. Chattanooga pitching has been somewhat lackluster lately, judging by the stats. I haven't watched a whole lot of their games. But they have 2 pitchers with a 5.31 ERA and roughly 40 innings apiece. Chattanooga pitching has been somewhat lackluster. Judging by the stats, two of their pitchers have a 5.31 ERA in about 40 innings, while another pitcher has a 3.83 ERA in the same amount of time. Jonathan Harmon is one of those pitchers with a 5.31 ERA and has given up 9 home runs on the season. And I think that is a big stat here because the Trash Pandas lately have been hitting the long ball. And I think that probably has something to do with his velocity and the pop off the bat. But I think that this is something that Chattanoogas are going to have to really pay attention to who they pitch to and where on the plate. Definitely command is going to be a thing for him and his game. The other is Kevin Abel. He has 41 strikeouts on the season, but he has 30 walks. Mm-hmm. So this is a guy that averages about a strikeout an inning, but his walk ratio is really, really high. And I really think that giving free bases to the Trash Pandas might not be the best of ideas right now.
No, we saw that in the home game series, the opening series, that if you let them walk on you, they will win.
Yeah.
And listen, there's no shame in winning because of walk run. Like, because of those free runs, essentially, is what they are when they're getting walked into home base. But we've seen that happen with the Trash Pandas. Yeah. They'll take them, and when they do, they'll take off.
Well, it's not even that. It's a lot of situational things. So you walk a guy, depending on the pop time from the catcher, he gets a steal to second.
Yeah.
And you got, theoretically, you've got no outs and a runner in scoring position. A single scores him. Now you got a runner on first. Or even if the single doesn't score him, now you got runners on first and third. So you set up a steal, double steal situation.
Or you walk another guy when you've got full bases.
Yeah.
And we've seen this happen with the Trash Pandas multiple times.
The crazy thing is that these two pitchers with those stats have the most wins on the team.
Wow.
Jose Acuna is the pitcher with a 3.83 ERA, and he seems to be the most dominant of the bunch. He's at the top of inning counts. He has 43 strikeouts with 17 walks. So this is a guy, flip side of that, can strike guys out, a little over 1 an inning, very respectable ERA, low walk ratio.
He's not giving you those free ones.
No, you're going to have to earn it. And this is a game where I think the Trash Pandas are likely going to find themselves in a pitching duel. And should be a fun one to watch at Toyota Field. When you flip to the other side and you look at the Trash Panda side of pitching, Ryan Costu leads the way with wins on the team with 4 and posting a 5.74 ERA in just 7 games. Throwing in 31 and a third inning, he has amassed 33 strikeouts and 11 walks. I would not be surprised if that's the pitching duel you see. Costu and Acuna. I think that's going to be your pitching duel for that game.
They need to put my boy Yovan in.
He's been really good closing lately. Mm-hmm. He's closed out a lot of games, and I think you're going to see him a lot later in these games. I say that it should be Costu, but then on the flip side of things, the Trash Pandas have 3 really dominant pitchers. Joel Hurtado is the next one on the list with 3 wins. During his 35 and a third innings, he has 30 strikeouts and 14 walks. So about a 1-to-2 ratio. He also leads the team with the lowest average against him with a 222 batting average. So definitely a guy that is going to make some guys ground out, make some guys fly out, get a good amount of strikeouts. However, when we talk about strikeouts, the strikeout leader and innings pitched leader for the team is Jose Gonzalez, who has a 2-1 record on the season with a 4.12 ERA. In his 39 and a third innings, he striked out 39 and only walked 17.
Again, that's somebody you're going to have to work for it.
Gonzalez and Hurtado are currently tied with a 1.25 whip. So that's a really good whip average at this developmental stage. And I think that those 3 are going to be great matchups that give the Trash Pandas probably their best opportunities.
What's a whip?
A whip is about, see if I remember this. We might have to edit this one because I'm going to have to look it up again.
You can tell me it's a good stat, but you can't tell me what it is.
It has to deal with the walks, strikeouts, batters faced, innings pitched.
That make walks, hits, innings pitched. Okay, so It's your walks versus your hits and the innings
divided by
pitched.
your innings pitched.
Okay, that makes sense.
So
An average of these.
yeah, so they're giving up a walk, 1.25 walks or hits in an inning.
That's not bad. That's real low.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
great stats there. The two teams lead the These two teams lead the league in batting average, batting attempts, hits, and RBIs. So, like I said, this is top tier baseball right here for the North Division. Chattanooga does have a slight edge Chattanooga does have a slight advantage above the Trash Pandas in all those categories, but it's very marginal. It's not by a lot. Pitching wise, as a team, Chattanooga and the Trash Pandas are tied with 12 saves on the season, and also tied with the same amount of runs given up at 224 apiece. However, the Trash Pandas get a little edge here against Chattanooga with the amount of hits giving up, and they've given up 7 less hits.
So it's really closely matched. We're not looking at a team who is leagues and leagues above us. We're looking at a team that is like close.
No, and the Trash Pandas have allowed 6 less home runs while also carrying a better whip percentage as a team. But again, it's very neck and neck there. I mean, this is the Trash Pandas are a few games behind in this. However, the momentum that they've made in moving forward and the ground that they've gained has really put them at the top of the league. If you look at just the win-loss, the Trash Pandas would be leading in the South. I mean, it's that close, and especially essentially right now it's a 3-team run for first place. Unfortunately, Birmingham is struggling a little bit. They're like 7 games back at this point, but there's so much baseball left. Anything can happen. You got call-ups and injuries, and there's so much that can change there. Like I said, these two are very evenly matched teams and should make for some great baseball this week. A couple good promotions on deck this week with the Barking Good Time of Tito's Tail Wagging Tuesdays, followed by Wine Wednesdays, where
$5 wine.
$5
That's
wine.
right. I know. I'm so excited for $5 wine night. Like I'm buying a ticket just to go. I know that we have the press passes. Forget it. I'm not working on Wine Wednesday. You can go with your press pass and you can work. I'm buying a ticket so that I can have $5 wine.
Perfect,
the entire night.
I'm cashing in one of my games later in this weekend.
Wonderful.
Then we'll have a baby supply drive Thursday where all the supplies that you could possibly thinking of are
Donate baby supplies. Even if you don't go to the games, even if you're not a Trash Pandas fan, donate baby supplies. You never know who needs your help or whose life you could be changing.
These donations are taken up for the Owens House. And then on Friday night, we have Freaky Friday Halloween night with Arx Mortis for a spooky good time.
I'm so confused. It's May. It's May, and everything about this promotion for this night that I've read says that it's Halloween. It's not Halloween. It's May.
No, but let me finish. So Arx Mortis runs like a entertainment company, kind of like haunted houses and spooky attractions.
Yeah, they have several I want to go to this year, so be ready.
So they're hosting a charity night May 30th for the Killing Fire and Rescue. So I think that's a little bit of a promotion for them to try to get some people out.
That makes sense.
When I looked online, the tickets are very reasonable. I think it was $17-18 for both attractions. Should be a good time. Supports a great cause. So I hope they get a bunch of people out there for that and raise some awareness for that in this game.
So you got our tickets. You booked us some tickets
No.
go to some haunted houses.
No. I'm going to HCFC.
Oh, that's right. We do have that.
Here's where I'm going to start cashing in tickets. Then the day that as a millennial, I am so excited for Harry Potter weekend.
Oh my gosh, I'll be there. It doesn't matter. I have no problem working this weekend or that weekend. I will be there anyway.
So Saturday will be a game, one where all witches and wizards should come out for a magical game at Toyota Field. The Trash Pandas will be wearing a specialty jersey for this night, and it will be auctioned off after the game as well as Firework Fridays.
Oh, awesome. I'll be wearing my robes. I'll be wearing my Ravenclaw robes, and I'll see you guys there.
Fireworks Friday, Fireworks Saturday,
And fireworks on Sunday.
and fireworks on Sunday. Looking at these jerseys that they're gonna wear for the Harry Potter night, I love them.
I gotta have one.
Yep.
I gotta have one. I saw them too.
Yep. So I definitely want to get one of those. I'm gonna try to get my hand in the auction and see if I can scoop one up. Sunday we move into day 2 of the Harry Potter weekend, and this is kind of a long list for a Sunday here. The first 1,000 fans will get a fleece Harry Potter blanket. Along with the usual Trash Panda lineups where you can get your autographs from all the players in the lineup. The kids run the bases for free after the game. And the third game of the series giving us fireworks in the Memorial Day weekend. So, action-packed weekend at Toyota Field this weekend.
We're so busy.
Tuesday through Saturday, first pitch is at 6:35, and Sunday, first pitch is at 5:35.
We'll be at all of them.
Yes, we will.
We will be at all of them.
HCFC time.
My favorite.
So as somebody who I've said before, I was not a soccer fan. I didn't know anything about soccer. I wasn't even interested in soccer.
That's right. You went to your first real soccer game. Oh my gosh, I'm locked in for this. I'm so excited.
So let's get caught up. So we have the HCFC going on the road against Inter Miami 2. Come out with a dub, 4-2.
Yeah, they did.
Then the boys in blue traveled to Chattanooga, winning that one 2-0. With goals from Yoshizawa in the 47th minute and Molina in the 94th minute. Before coming home to taking on the Carolina Core FC. This was my first real game in person. I went to the exhibition match against UAH and HCFC, and I was super excited. I didn't know what to expect. It was a midweek game. It was definitely interesting, to say the least. And this was such a great match to watch. This was a great match to watch, and was my first one, as we said, and I couldn't have asked for a better outcome in this game.
You couldn't have asked for a better game to be your first one, because this one was so interesting to watch.
It really was, and I was super excited to be there and to see the fans and the drum brigade and the smoke and everything, and I felt like I was a kid in the candy store. Nobody disappointed. The crowd was great. The HCFC management was awesome to interact with and finally get a chance to meet.
The organization is an amazing organization, which, by the way, thank you guys so much. If you see our new table piece that we have here, the HCFC is such a fantastic organization, and the people who work for them are wonderful, beautiful people, and they did donate us a soccer ball. It is game used, which is something that I love because you can see that it's dirty, but it has all of the signatures on it. It was such an honor and a blessing to receive. So it will be our centerpiece on the table from here on out.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. I felt like in this match that HCFC did everything right. They played to their strengths against the opponent's weaknesses. Felt like they really dominated in this game. They won this one 3-0 with a goal from Eck in the 28th minute, Sullivan in the 79th minute, and then finally to end this one out, a goal from Vilez in the 93rd minute. What I really enjoyed was after the game, getting to go down on the field, and I got to meet Coach O'Neill and talk with him a little bit, and I got the opportunity to speak to Maximus Eck, he's one of my top 2s.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Wait, one of your top 2s?
Yeah.
I gotta hear, who's your top?
Sullivan.
Sully?
I like Sully.
I love Sully.
That man
He's got wheels on his feet. He's so fast.
I need him to score a goal and go, ka-chow.
I do think,
because he is lightning.
I do think the funniest thing ever was after Saturday's game, I was standing there talking to Sully. We had all the players over. They were donating jerseys to kids and stuff. And I said, Sully, you are so fast. I said, you are such a pleasure to watch because you're so fast. I'm like, you've got wheels on your feet. And he was like, really? He's like, you should tell the rest of my team that because it's like they don't notice. And I was like, you're so fast, dude.
The thing that I've noticed watching these games is that he has great vision. However, he sees the play before it develops, and it gets him in trouble.
Yeah, he ends up offsides a lot,
Yeah.
but it's because he can see what's about to happen before it's like a sixth sense he's got.
Yeah.
He can see what's about to happen before it happens, so he gets into the position he needs to be. But by the time he looks back, he's entire
20 yards
team
past.
is
Yeah.
all the way on the other side of the field.
Yeah. It would have been a little transition here, but I really think it would have been interesting to see him on a football field because he
Oh my
can
gosh,
flat
yes.
out fly.
He really does.
The second game of the homestand was against the FC Cincinnati 2, where the boys in blue continue to gain confidence and find ways to score goals, winning this one 4-0. We had goals from Eck at the 14th minute. Cristiano got himself a goal in the 57th minute. Add in another goal from Eck at the 71st minute mark, and the last goal coming from Molina at the 75th minute mark. So kind of a little bit of back-to-back there at the end. 4 minutes apart, getting 2 goals. Here's the game that is tough to talk about.
Well, hold on. They go into this game on a 4-game win streak, which
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah,
It's
they gained a
kids'
lot
night.
of ground.
They gained a lot of ground. It's kids' night going into this game. We've got mascots from the Havoc. We have Chaos and Ruckus. We have Sprocket from the Trash Pandas there. Like, this game has so much hype going into it. And it is sad. It is sad going into this game and talking about it. But these boys went out there, and before we even say anything about the game, these
They played
boys
their
went out
hearts
there
out.
and they played their hearts out. They did their absolute best. But you can't battle both another team and the referees
Yeah.
at the same time. And the referees should not be playing the game. They should absolutely be officiating in a fair way.
So we'll get into towards that at the end. I definitely have some things that I would like to say and air out in popular or unpopular opinion. I
got
want
ahead
to
of
be
you. I'm
heard.
sorry.
The boys in blue seem to get off to a hot start, getting ahead 2-0 going into halftime, even with Eck being red carded at the 41st minute.
Playing against Atlanta United too.
The boys in blue had goals from Cristiano in the 18th minute and another goal from Gaines at the 45th minute. And his goal was crazy. So the ball was passed to him. Atlanta United 2 kind of intercepts it, trying to keep it away from Gaines. They kick it to the goalie, but the goalie wasn't where he thought he was, so he deflects off of his foot, and Gaines has a wide open spread in front of him.
And he made that goalie eat that. He didn't just go up close to the goal and kick the ball in. Gaines ran the ball all the way to the back of the goal. He took his body with the ball. He really showed that goalie why you stay in your box.
Yep.
When someone like him is that close, you stay in the box.
I didn't agree with Eck's yellow card nor his red card. I felt that he was very much targeted in this game. I don't remember all of the players' names, but I remember the numbers. Number 82.
And number 67.
Yep, 67 played the hit off. That wasn't even a hit. They went up for a ball and both collided. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't malicious. And that was the call that got Eck red carded while he laid on the ground and
For clarity,
was seemingly hurt.
For clarity, 82 and 67 are Atlanta United 2
Yes.
players, just for clarity. But I agree. These 2 players, the entire game, were not just pests, they were a nuisance.
Yes.
They targeted our players, they repeatedly played dirty, and nothing got called on them. We saw the refs repeatedly tell them one more time. How many one more times do they get? However, our guys didn't get one more time.
No.
Eck got a yellow card on the first offense, and then there was no fouling offenses before. Eck got a yellow card on the first offense, and then he goes straight to a red card, obviously from a yellow card. If you get another yellow card, you're going to go to red card. He goes straight to a red card. There was no leniency or give when it came to our boys. They were held to a standard that Atlanta 2 was not held to.
And I agree. The officiating was absolutely atrocious. I would like to see this game get reviewed or something to come from this, because you can't tell me that was fair officiating. And then the other thing that really just irked my nerves was number 82. Anytime that there was any kind of foul, yellow card, 82 would run to the ref and argue. And at some point, when is enough enough? At one point, do you go, that's it? But it never happened. He continued to argue calls and push people out of the way to get in the ref's face, to argue a call or a foul and explain everything.
Yeah.
When does that become enough?
I feel like, and I don't quote me on this, I guess. And if you guys know if this is the fact or not, please let us know in the comments. I feel like there is a rule against this. I know in hockey there is.
Yeah.
If you argue with a ref, like that is absolutely a big mess up in hockey. It's a bench minor or a bench major even. You can get put in the penalty box for this and even thrown out of the game for arguing with a ref. It's a game misconduct rather.
Yep.
I feel like there has to be some sort of rule in the MLS Next Pro League that covers this as well. However, it wasn't utilized. There was a yellow card issued to the Atlanta United coach, but it was one.
But there's a whole lot that happened before that happened.
Right.
Atlanta United 2 scores a goal and then runs behind and taunts the crowd, beating on the sign at kids.
Yeah, they weren't even taunting the crowd in general. They were taunting a section of children.
And that is...
These are adults. These are adults taunting children.
That makes me so mad, and it's disgusting to watch.
It's very tacky behavior.
It was.
100%.
And then when you speak of the yellow card, not long after that, Atlanta United 2 had scored another goal, and the coaches turn around and are yelling into the fan base, into the crowd, taunting them, but nothing happened. How does nobody see this? There's a ref down there, and you can't hear the yelling behind you as Coach O'Neill is telling you. How is that not a foul?
This is side note here, but this is one of the things I respect so much about Coach O'Neill. Coach O'Neill is not the kind of coach. We've seen this throughout the season so far. He's not the kind of coach that's going to yell and scream at you.
Right.
He's not going to blow his top or any of those things. However, I did see him multiple times. We sat down low so that we could have the fan experience this game. And I did see multiple times where he was going to the ref that was on the sidelines and he was saying, when is enough enough? Are you going to have a conversation with the entire team about fouling my players? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? And he just kept getting blown off. However, he never got disrespectful. He never spoke out of turn, I guess, in a way that should have been interpreted as disrespectful.
He never even really got loud. The only time
he never even got loud.
I heard him yell, but that was towards players to get their attention so he could tell them and line them up.
Yeah.
He never got disrespectful. He never... hats off to you, Coach. I don't know how you do it. I would have absolutely lost my mind.
It felt like the entire game, him and the Atlanta United coach were butting heads. They were at odds, all of that through the entire game. But at the end of the game, what did we see from Coach O'Neill? The same respectful behavior that we've seen from him throughout the entire season. Something that is wildly admirable about this coach. He walks up and he shakes his hand and he pats him on the back and they're laughing at the end of the game. And that is something that is so big considering the Atlanta United coach was 100% disrespectful, not just to the organization that they play for, but the fans that were in the stadium, the people who paid money to come see these teams play, and the coaching staff for our team.
Yeah, I have tremendous respect for Coach O'Neill, how he handles situations, how he deals with the players, and you could see the amount of respect that the players have for him, and he kind of breaks that mold. At least from my experiences, he's not the coach that's going to get in your face and yell and scream. He's not the coach that's going to, immediately tell you what you did wrong. When something happened on the field, he didn't yell at the player. He went to his coaching staff. Show me what happened.
Show me, roll back the footage as they were sitting on the sidelines.
Yep.
We even saw him as they're losing, they're down, they're not doing too well. Players are losing steam because at this point we've got 2 players out on red cards, so we're down by 2 men.
Sullivan was hurt for a little bit.
Sullivan's hurt for a little while. They start making substitutions, pulling people out. And as each player comes off the field, coach is meeting them at the sidelines. He's fist bumping them. He's patting them on the back. He's telling them, great job. It didn't matter that his team was losing. What mattered was that his guys were coming off the field, and he wanted them to know he still respected them. He still appreciated them, and he still thought they did a good job. And again, they did. Like we said, they did everything right in this game. It wasn't an issue of the HCFC dropping the ball here. It was that you can't battle both the team and the refs.
And I think that our goalie for HCFC was really at a disadvantage in this one. When you have two less defenders or people or however you want to classify it on the field, charging the box, 3 at one point, it's a mismatch. You can't cover it all when you don't have as many guys down there as they do. So
in addition, this is not a goalie that plays with our team. It was not our normal goalie.
No, it was
this is not a goalie that plays with our team. I believe we heard after the game that he's a goalie that was sent down from Nashville to get some minutes. This is not a goalie that has gelled with our team this entire season. He's not someone who has been on the field and in the trenches, I guess you could say, with them. So he's at a disadvantage going into it already because they're not a connected team with him.
And I know that's when you lose in that fashion, that's not an easy pill to swallow.
No.
And the only thing that I could hope for him is that he keeps his head up, keeps trying, keeps battling, and comes back and shows why he belongs on the team.
Absolutely. And every night's not going to be his night.
Right.
And that's something that, to see him kicking himself when he was down,
Yeah.
that broke my heart because every night's not going to be your night. You're not going to play 100% at every single game. But also, this isn't a league where we expect that from you.
Right.
This is a league where we expect for you to go out there, make the mistakes, and learn from them and come back better the next time. If you're not doing that, that's how you fail.
I know when I spoke to him off the record after the game, I remember telling him, it's all right. Just breathe. Leave it leave it here.
Yep.
Let it sit and go get it.
You got to flush it.
You got to let it go.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's hard. Swallow the pill. Take your lump. Let it go.
Yeah. Come back better the next time.
That's it. You a lot of teaching points for him in that game, I'm sure. There were a lot of teaching points for him to see things differently and how Coach O'Neill wants him to perform.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we look forward. A little bit of time between here and then, but we've got the HCFC traveling to the Windy City to take on Chicago Fire FC2 on May 24th. I know that when they played here, this was a super close game. It went into penalty kicks, which the HCFC lost 4-2.
This was a game that you weren't there.
No.
However, I was there. And let me tell you, Chicago Fire plays like you would imagine a team from Chicago plays. I know that 90% of the guys on this team are not from Chicago, but they play like you would expect people from Chicago to play. They are rough. They are tough. They are taking no hostages. They're putting you down. And this is a team that plays very aggressively. Very aggressively. To see them go into penalty kicks and to lose the way that the HCFC did against them in the penalty kicks was absolutely devastating, but they play very well against each other. One, they're very close matched, but two, Chicago Fire gives the HCFC a run for their money.
So I disagree there. I think that just like the Trash Pandas, the HCFC are a little bit different of a club now.
Oh, 100%.
When we look at their records overall, HCFC is 5-3-2, while Chicago is 2-4-4.
It hadn't been that way.
No, so I think that this is something that I think they go on the road and they get a win.
You think so?
Yep.
I mean, hey, I'm always rooting for my boys in blue to win.
Yeah.
But I do think it'll be a tough game. It'll be a fun game to watch, but it will be a tough one. These boys play rough in Chicago. They do. They play very aggressively.
I'll definitely be tuning in.
Our team is not an aggressive player. They're not an aggressive team.
They're a finesse team.
Yes, they're not going to do it with brute force. They're going to do it through finesse and through skill. And that's one of the things I respect about them.
So I'll get into a couple things about them, and then I'll have my closing remarks as far as soccer and the HCFC in general. So here's some top league stats as we sit right now. Will McKay is 9th in the league with 28 saves and only 9 goals allowed in 8 games. So great stats there. Maximus Eck is 8th in the league with goals scored and 6th in penalty kicks scored.
That's right.
The HCFC is 9th in points and sit 5 points back from first place. So definitely still within striking range there. The season is still young with plenty of time to make the push for the top, especially if they're able to keep winning as they have been as of late. And they're 5th in the league in goals scored. So they're putting the ball in the net. And I think that this is a team that will make a run into the playoffs and by the end of the year be in a good spot towards the top. When we talk about the Atlanta United 2 game, regardless of how that match turned out, I'm extremely proud of the boys in blue, like you said.
So proud.
They never showed signs of quit. They continued to push forward regardless of how many men they were down, what the score liked, how much that it was unfairly called against them from an officiating standpoint. And as someone who is completely new to the soccer world, I've really come to enjoy watching these games, understanding the game and getting to learn a new sport in that aspect. The atmosphere at Wicks Family Field is amazing. The crowd is a blast. I know, like you said, we had the fan experience this time, so we sat in a lot of different sections and kind of got to interact with the crowd. And we weren't the only ones who were very upset with the officiating crew.
We weren't.
There were some choice words and some not so much happy words being yelled.
There was a point during that game when every single person in the stadium was on their feet screaming at the refs that they sucked, that they were deaf and they were blind, and that they sucked. And I'm used to this with hockey.
Yeah,
I'm used to this with hockey. This was they're so much more brutal even than hockey fans.
Well, and because I think it's the proximity to the field too, right? So there's no glass. There's nothing to stop the sound. And when the refs are walking across,
can hear you.
They can absolutely hear everything you're yelling.
The players on the field can hear you. We saw that with that player that was kicking from the corner.
Yeah.
There was a guy dressed as Mario, and he yelled down at our player, his last name starts Yoshizawa.
Yeah.
So he yells down at Yoshizawa, Yoshi and Mario joke, and Yoshi looks up and sees him before he kicks the ball. And we can see that they can actively hear us on the field because they acknowledge us.
Yeah.
So for the refs to hear I would say 3,000 people standing up screaming at them,
it can't be a great place to be in.
Feels.
No, it can't be a great place to be in. But thank you to the HCFC. You got me hook, line, and sinker. I'm gonna be at as many soccer games as I can make it to. That's for sure.
I told you all you needed to do was experience one game. I by no means exaggerated in my first article about the HCFC. I by no means exaggerated what the experience was like.
No, it's awesome.
It's an absolutely awesome experience. Even if you don't understand the game, it's an awesome experience.
And as somebody who doesn't know all the rules, I don't know how everything works, it's entertaining to watch. Even if you don't know anything, you can kind of figure it out. If you're a hockey fan, it's super similar. It's hockey on grass without the violence.
Hate me for saying it, but it is hockey on grass. There's no violence, but it is hockey on grass. All of the rules mirror each other. Essentially, you're removing the sticks and the pucks, and you're adding a soccer ball. And
I definitely think that if you're watching, go to a game. Give it a shot. The tickets are they're very affordable. It's a great time for the family. The weather has been amazing lately. It's artificial turf, so there's no mosquitoes.
There's no bugs.
It's a great time. I highly, highly, highly recommend. I think if you go one time, you'll itch to go back.
Bring your kids. There's a kids zone where your kids can play. Sometimes they have kids things after where the kids can go on the field and meet the players, which is really awesome. It's an experience. It's an awesome experience. But in addition, the kids are always welcome to come down in the section right behind the bench. After the game, the players will come up and sign stuff for the kids, even there. They want you to pass it over the railing. Yep. The players are so awesome with connecting with their fan base, and they appreciate their fan base. It's an experience you should have.
I agree. So next week, we'll have another guest co-host.
Yes.
I'm excited for this one.
We're going to be doing some open seat interviews essentially for this chair because this is not my chair. I am usually behind the camera. I hope I did well for you guys this week. I'm not usually the one on camera. I'm usually the one behind the camera doing the editing. So we've got to replace the person who sits in this chair because it can't be me. I'm not meant to host this show. I would take over, and then who would need Daniel anymore?
I do have a special kind of announcement for next week's episode.
Yeah.
We are going to speak with Joe Little, who started the Pucks with Passion, I believe is the name of it, which is a nonprofit to help kids in getting hockey gear and equipment. So we'll have him on next week. We'll ask him a few questions and get to know him a little bit more, as well as the organization that he started.
He's basically the third mascot for the Havoc.
Yeah.
Speaking of hockey, we do have to talk about the SPHL a little bit here.
Yeah, we can. So
we have to.
We added another team. We've got the Athens Rock Lobsters.
We're bringing the Athens Rock Lobsters in. The official announcement was made. That's going to be awesome. Athens, Georgia, you're getting an SPHL team.
I'm curious how this is going to work, too, because we should get some protected list here shortly. It's I think the league rule is 14 days after the last playoff game that the protected list come out. I'm unsure how this is going to work with them coming up from the FPHL, if they're going to bring their team or if they're going to. There's usually like a little draft, so this is a kind of a new one for me. I'm excited to see how that's going to turn out. I will be so upset if a few people leave the Havoc. I can't do it.
It could happen, but that would mean we'd get some new faces, and we love new faces. We got to talk about the playoffs. I know you don't want to, but we got to talk about the playoffs. Evansville did it for the second year in a row.
Congratulations.
Hey. They did it though.
They did. They did it in a dramatic fashion too. I mean,
they really did.
They were down 2 games on the road, came home, won 2 games,
3-game sweep,
and then went back to Peoria and won the 3rd game on the road.
Yeah, they did.
I thought that was it's awesome to watch stories like that unfold. I am proud of them. That's not an easy feat. They are a great team and a great organization. As of late, they've really jumped up after looking into some of their history. They were a little bit of a bottom tier team for a while. And in the last, I'd probably say since COVID, they've really became a top tier team. Hopefully they can get some more people in the stands besides the 20 season ticket holders that they have. No, but they're a great organization in a very rural part of Indiana, and I hope that they can get some more people in Ford Center because those boys deserve that.
2 things. We don't have to hear Riverman style anymore, at least not for the season.
It drives me nuts. It makes no sense.
Oh, my God. It's irritating. But the second thing here, and you will disagree, I got to give a shout-out to Hobbs. I've got to. So I watched those Evansville playoffs games, and he absolutely dominated. He dominated. Listen, I fully believe, and I will stand behind this, it's just like David Novotny. When Novotny was on the Havoc, we loved him. When Novotny went to Roanoke and he was doing the same stuff that Novotny did when he played for the Havoc, but he was doing it for Roanoke, we all switched to hating him.
No, we didn't switch to hating him.
Yeah, we did.
No,
we talked about how dirty he was, of a player he was. We talked about all of those things.
He was dirty in Huntsville.
He was dirty in Huntsville, and we loved it. But as soon as he was dirty against Huntsville, we didn't love it anymore. And Hobbs is the same way. He's a dirty player. Yes, he's an absolute powerhouse. But the only
he's got a mouth too.
He's got a mouth on him. But the only reason we don't like him is because he's not doing it for Huntsville. He's doing it against Huntsville.
I don't know. I disagree because I wouldn't want him as a Havoc. I don't think that he embodies the same thing that the Havoc embody. They've really gotten away from that
dirty play.
The dirty. We're gonna box you up in center ice and we'll sit in the penalty box. Towards the end of the season, they really cleaned a lot of that up. They had to really be pushed over the edge for that to happen. And when we're talking about Novotny, because I'm going to get my point across, Novotny played that way for the Havoc. Yes, it was not as intense as it was when he went to Roanoke and And when you look back at ex-Havoc players that would come back, Ashton Paul, for instance, would come in, they wouldn't slam him into the boards. However,
with Novotny, they were wrecking his...
Novotny is the gnat at a barbecue. He's just going to keep bothering the hell out of you until he gets under your skin, and they weren't having that.
Yeah.
So
Novotny absolutely thrived.
He did. That was the perfect place for him to go.
We watched him not score very high very many with the Havoc. We watched him kind of struggle, I think, to find his own with the Havoc, and then he went to Roanoke and he absolutely flourished.
He definitely went to the right place.
He was on the scoreboard on the list every single game. He scored something. He assisted something. He did something.
He always produced.
He contributed every single game with Roanoke.
I think you could say the same thing for Matt Allen too. I think that. Yes, he was a goal scorer here in Huntsville, but I don't know if he really.
The team wasn't right for him.
I don't think he really meshed into the vision of the team. But then he goes down to Pensacola,
and he flourished
again. Played lights out for those guys, and I'm interested to see who they get, who stays, who unfortunately is gonna go.
I want Mundinger. I know that Knoxville
they're never going to give him up. They're never going to give up Mundinger.
Again, though, we also can't dislike Hobbs when we don't dislike Reggie. And Reggie and Hobbs play.
No, they don't.
Yes, Reggie is in the penalty box more than anyone else in the league.
That's because none of the officials like Reggie. Justice for Reggie.
But why don't they like Reggie? They don't like Reggie because
he's got a mouth. Because he's got a mouth.
Right. They don't like Reggie because he plays rough. He plays dirty.
And the funny thing is that since we're talking about Reggie, I think one of the crazy things about him is when you talk to him off the ice, he's such a soft-spoken, kind individual. He is a maniac. He is insane when you put him on the ice.
Yeah.
He's a completely different person.
Totally different.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to hear what is going to happen with some of the Havoc players that are.
So if we have our protected list, this will be something we talk about next week, right?
Yeah. If the list comes out, we're definitely going to talk about it because I'm curious. On that protected list, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to stay.
It just means they're being offered the position to stay.
Well, it's not even that. It's you having the rights to them. So people could leave and not come back, or Yannick went and played in Germany. And then, no, it wasn't Yannick.
Yes, it was.
Was it Yannick?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
No, it wasn't Yannick. I'm sorry. It was oh my God, what is his name? 17 or 77. Risky.
Risk played in another league. Huntsville still owned the rights to him, so when he came back, he was able to come right to the Havoc. I mean, I think that they've got a pretty good core around them with some young guys. When you talk about Chirino, Lindsay, Proctor, I think that they've got a good core group. They've got some veteran guys that I think have really taught those guys up. I'm still hoping to see Josh Kessner come back.
I'm hoping.
I have the utmost respect for that man to play as many leagues as he's played in and to just be the person that he is, talking with him. Amazing family man. A guy that you could 100% sit down and just BS and drink beer with on a Saturday evening.
Such a dad.
Yeah.
He's such a dad.
He is.
Well, guys, I want to hear from you. I want to hear who in all of the SPHL would you like to see on the Havoc. It can be from any team. It can be a previous player. It can be people that were dropped down to the FPHL. Who do you want to see on the Havoc coming next year?
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see how that one comes out.
Yeah,
well,
that's all I had for the week.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Well, until next week, stay locked in. You're in orbit.